Nemesis. Log number 3-22. Finally, it might be a good time to actually tell you more about my life, about my past, about the days when I've been around Maxine, about a man Judo Bareilles was back then. By no means of any measure, I was a good person, just a man doing his job, and I was damn good at it. When I was young, I thought that I was born in the wrong time period. Blessed with strong physical capabilities, athletic talents that came to me naturally. I was meant to do nothing but fight. I became a fighter pilot for New Republic after the war was long over, hunting down the remaining Empire and First Order supporters, keeping peace in colonies of hostages and prisoners of war. After a few years of service, I was honorably discharged, as there was not much need for soldiers to begin with. Peace seemed to reign over the galaxy, and all my combat intelligence skills were no longer of any use. So I had to take my talents to a job in a field similar to war, the job of ending lives. I became a merc and worked my way up to be a top tier one, taking on any job that fell in my lap, no matter the difficulty. That's where Maxine and I met. She was a bounty hunter just like myself. She wasn't too happy about the job nor proud of it, while I didn't mind it. We've done a few missions together as partners. Our paths crossed plenty of times in the field. She was probably the only friend I had in this line of work. The rest were complete scum with no principles, allowing themselves to cause more harm and destruction than they were commissioned for, stepping out of line. Mercenary Guild works on a principle of tiers. You start as an independent bounty hunter, free agent if you will. At first you search for bounties yourself, and after successfully completing some of them, the guild notices you and invites you in. When you become a member of the guild, you are given a badge, an ID token that proves your affiliation with the guild. From that point on, some jobs are sent directly to you along with a few other guild members, allowing for cooperation. That's how Maxine and I ended up working together. The higher you go in the bounty hunter hierarchy, you get to an ultimate S tier level. When you are the only person tasked with a certain impossible mission, you are the sole entity the guild relies on to complete it. The war was long over, but the fight continued for me. The fight for nothing but credits at the expense of others' misfortunes. I enjoyed the pay, my morals, or maybe a lack of them, allowed it. Bounties became more intense. The number of casualties increased. I was locked in, fully committed, until they sent me on that mission. I was tasked to dispose of the woman that a few years before had worked for the guild master. One day she vanished, so did all the relics from his safe. It took me some time to track and locate the woman's whereabouts. The guild's intelligence finally came across some info that she was hiding on Kashyyyk, dense evergreen forest, the homeworld to Wookiees, and the job was given to Judo to see through and finish. Her traces led me all the way to the ground level of the planet, searching through many settlements and villages in the trees. Soon as I set my foot in the place of her refuge, I realized that it was an orphanage for kids who lost their parents because of the guild's actions. Chances were some kids could have ended up there directly by my doings. That place, it gave these kids hope, family. They all looked happy there. That woman and I locked eyes. She knew all along that it was coming, and it was only a question of time, question of when. She gestured me to follow her to the garden, away from the kids, so they wouldn't see it. I did follow her, but with every step I took, the feeling was growing inside of me. The feeling of disgust with myself, and another feeling of a need to break free. When we almost reached the destination, where execution was destined to take place, I turned around and left. I walked off the job. I couldn't do it. No, I didn't want to do it. Didn't want to turn a blind eye on the ones who was hurting. Hide behind the notion that I was just doing a job, disregarding the damage it was causing. Oh, I see now. So that's what happened? The thing that did it for you? But a test merc can't just up and quit his job. That doesn't fly with the guild. So what happened next? Maxine chimed in while listening to me recounting my mercenary career. Well, naturally a word came back to the guild about me nowhere to be found. They kicked me out, stripped me of my rank. Once you're in possession of the badge, you're a marked man, who can abandon the guild at your will whenever you please, especially in the middle of the job, or even worse, betray them. Once you're in, no other way around it. And as more time had passed and they realized I was not coming back to provide some explaining, they put out a bounty on me. It was free for all. Maxine had quit this thing by then too. You can't cross the guild without consequences. On my end, I went on a bender for weeks after Kashyyyk, holed up in my spaceship somewhere far on the unexplored border of wild space, practically unreachable, out of my mind, escaping into long darkness with the help of the time-stop eye drops, numbing the pain, keeping my brain guilt-free and my body in a comatose state, melancholy existence, floating in the nothingness of being. It all came back to me then. All the pain caused hit me tenfold, all at once, soon as I stepped off. I was drowning in my delusions until they showed up. It didn't take them too long to locate me. They knew my ship and got a hunch from someone who'd seen it when I was re-upping on my substances. A lot of pursuers came, had to kill every one of them. It continued like that for some time, but I got tired of running, essentially doing the same exact thing I didn't want to do. So I decided to approach this thing diplomatically because, at the end of the day, all the guild cares about is profit, the flow of credits going their way. So I had to sell my spaceship. What a beauty she was, served me long and well, and with the help of all of my earnings and savings, I paid off the guild, gave practically all my credits to them, gladly turned in my badge too, no longer wanting to carry this burden in my pocket. That would be a constant reminder of all the atrocities I've committed, and to satisfy the bloodhounds, they officially pronounced me dead. The bounty was called off. On my part, I had to go incognito, to move on and never look back, never go back to this business. So I did, ending up on terrace, living in a lower level and working as a bouncer, leading a humble life. And then I went on telling Maxine about everything that happened after, recent events that put a stop to my peaceful life yet again. Nemesis.